My fiancée left our wedding after her ex crashed it and stated, "I can't believe I almost settled for a pathetic piece of trash like you. I took my brutal revenge." Now she's begging for forgiveness, only to find out I'm already with someone else. Alright, Reddit. So, my fiancée called off our wedding at the altar when her ex crashed it, embarrassed me in front of 150 people, and left, saying I was only a settlement option. I took them both to court, rebuilt my life, and made theirs a terrible misery. Get some popcorn and sit back and enjoy the show. I am a 29-year-old man who works as a marine biologist. Most of my 20s were spent diving coral reefs and doing real job, while most people my age were getting crazy at bottomless brunches. But here's the deal. No one tells you about marine biology. The salary is awful unless you're willing to work for a corporate consulting firm. So, I established a side business making personalized aquariums instead of the simple rectangle tanks from PetSmart. I'm talking about 500-gallon reef ecosystems for CEOs and tech guys who want to have living art in their desks. Depending on how complicated the project is, you can charge between $15,000 and $50,000. It pays for my real career and saves me from getting too deep in student debt. 3 years ago, I met my fiancée Harper, who is 26 years old and a woman, at a conference in San Diego. She was analyzing data for an environmental company. I was giving a talk about my study on how to restore coral reefs. We got along right away. They were both ocean nerds, liked the same podcasts, and wanted to get married and have kids. In the end, we were apart for 8 months while I finished my research contract in Florida. The entire long-distance relationship thing, with video conversations every night and flying out to visit each other once a month. After I got a job at the Pacific Marine Research Institute in Seattle, Harper found a job there in 2 weeks. They moved in together, got a puppy named Kobe, and started creating what looked like a regular adult relationship. At Olympic National Park, I asked her to marry me 2 years later. We planned the wedding for October. We gave us 8 months to get ready. Harper went into full bridezilla mode right away. The wedding budget quickly grew from $20,000 to $45,000. I was spending a lot of money I had saved by building aquariums and getting research grants. But Harper kept insisting it was our special day and that we only do this once. The problem was that it wasn't actually our money at that point. I had paid for roughly $35,000 of the whole thing. She had probably paid $10,000. Every time I brought up the idea of cutting back, she would get angry. "Why are you being so cheap about our wedding? Don't you want things to be just right?" My best friend Leo was telling me I was being used, but I didn't believe him. Thought she was just stressed up about the plans. We got into more fights. Just some friction, nothing big. She would get mad at me when I worked late on aquarium tasks. You worry about someone's fish tank when the wedding is in 2 months. She didn't know that those fish tanks were paying for her ideal wedding. It would make me mad when she added another $2,000 to the budget without asking. We would fight. I would give in. She would get what she desired. The pattern happened every week. She started acting strange around 3 months before, being more clandestine with her phone, taking calls in the other room, and staying up till 2 a.m. looking for ideas for decorations. I stepped in a few times, and each time she quickly minimized her laptop and said she was searching up surprise wedding arrangements for me. When I confronted her about it, she snapped, "God, can't I do anything without you questioning me? I'm trying to make our wedding perfect, and you're acting paranoid." I believed her. I mean, why not? We were going to get married in a few months. Who in the world develops a side business soon before their wedding? The rehearsal dinner went well after that. Both families were there, made toasts, and recounted funny stories. Harper's mom and dad arrived in from Argentina. The fact that her whole family is from Buenos Aires brought another layer of conventional Catholic expectations to everything. They were so excited about the wedding that they kept talking about their grandkids and asking when we were going to buy a house. That night, Harper appeared more interested. She laughed with her bridesmaids, took selfies with her mom, and acted like the bride I knew before the odd phase started. I felt a little better, thought that the stress we were feeling was just regular pre-wedding nerves. We slept separated that night, with her at her parents' hotel and me at our flat. Before she left, she kissed me and said, "Tomorrow will be perfect. I love you. The weather was perfect and the skies were clear on October 15th. My groomsmen and I got ready at the location. I was happy. I believed I was going to marry my best friend and start our life together. Around 3:30 p.m., guests began to arrive. I stood at the altar and watched as 150 people filled the chairs. Everyone was dressed up and enthusiastic. My family was on the left and Harper's was on the right. I saw people I knew from grad school, co-workers from the research institute, and family I hadn't seen in years. Everyone is coming to see us get married. The event was planned for 4 p.m. sharp. One by one, Harper's bridesmaids marched down the aisle in their matching outfits. The wedding march started playing after that. Everyone got up. Harper looked amazing in her couture dress at the back. That dress alone cost her $8,000. She kept repeating she wanted to appear great in pictures. She walked down the aisle with her dad, smiling at the guests and taking in all the attention. But there was something strange. She kept looking across the crowd as if she were looking for someone. Someone else, not me. She got to the altar. She kissed her dad on the cheek and then sat down. Harper was standing across from me with her bouquet. The officiant began his address by talking about love, dedication, and partnership. Normal wedding things. I wasn't really paying attention. I was simply looking at Harper and wondering about our future. The house we would purchase, the kids we would have, and getting old together. Then the officiant came to the portion that was meant to be just for show. Speak now or forever hold your peace if you have a reason why these two should not be married. I have a reason. The voice came from behind. Confident male voice. Everyone looked. This tall man in a fancy suit was in the last row. He had that look on his face that said he owned the area. He was smiling at Harper with an arrogant grin on his face. Harper loves me, not this guy. Maybe we should wait to make our vows. Everyone in the place stopped talking. You could hear the wind come. Her face was pale. I said, Harper, softly. Who is that jerk? The guy started walking down the aisle before she could answer. He took his time and acted like this was a love movie and he was the hero. He said, Trent, and held out his hand to me like we were meeting at a networking event. Harper told me everything about you, dude. Looks like a nice guy. But for months now, she's been texting me to explain she was wrong to let me go. I thought I should crash this party before she married the wrong guy. I just looked at Harper. You've been texting this bully for months? She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. She just stood there with her bouquet, staring back and forth between me and Trent as if she were trying to make up her mind. Like this was a hard choice for Sophie to make instead of the easiest one of her life. Trent was now at the altar next to me, and he was smirking at everything. Hey man, don't take it personally. But Harper and I have a past. History that is real. Not merely a rebound romance following her last breakup. We've been together for 3 years in college. Things like first love. You were the safest choice. My hands were shaking, not because I was nervous, but because I was so angry. I could hear my mom crying in the front row. I could see my best guy Leo getting tense, like he was going to pull Trent out by the throat. I could see 150 individuals watching this calamity happen in real time. The worst time of my life was recorded on my phone every second. Harper stared at Trent, who had a smug expression on his face, an expensive suit, and a hand reaching for hers. Then he looked at me, the guy who had spent 3 years establishing a life with her, who had spent $45,000 on the wedding, who had moved for her, and who had made her the center of his existence. I knew precisely what was going to happen right then and there in front of 150 people in my wedding suit, after spending $45,000 on this tragedy. I'm sorry, she said quietly. I thought I could do it, but I can't. Me and Trent. We never got to say goodbye. We never had our chance. The place went crazy. People gasped, stood up, and someone in the back yelled, "Oh my God!" My mom started to cry more. Leo moved forward as if he were about to tackle Trent. Harper's dad looked like he was going to have a heart attack. So that's it? I asked. You're canceling our wedding right now in front of everyone? I'm really sorry, but yes. Trent wrapped his arm around Harper's shoulders. Not to be rude, but when you know, and she knows she belongs with me. He moved closer, his chest puffed out and a cocky smirk on his face. Then he pushed me. Not too hard, but enough. He pushed me back with his hands on my chest, like I was in his way. Get out of the way, bro. This is no longer your problem. That's when I lost it. Just a reflex. Just anger. Before I even knew what I was doing, I hit Trent right in the jaw. All of it. All of my weight is behind it, connected with a loud crack that could be heard throughout the venue. He fell like a bag of cement and hit the ground hard, and blood started pouring out of his mouth right away. The tough man act went away right away. He was curled up and crying, with his hands over his face, and he wasn't even trying to get up. He lost all of his ego and confidence the moment he got hit. A typical coward. Total chaos. People yelling and Leo grabbing my arms. Harper dropped her bouquet and knelt next to Trent, who was on the ground groaning and holding his face as if he had been shot. Trent! Oh my God! Are you okay? She was crying and running her fingers through his hair. While 150 guests watched in horror, I stood there watching my fiancé comfort the man who had just ruined our wedding. Harper then looked up at me. I'd never seen that kind of poison in someone's eyes before. You could have broken his jaw. You're a psycho. I told him to come. I couldn't do this. I couldn't marry someone I was okay with. The place got quiet again. Settling for. She had just called me a settlement option in front of all our friends. Trent was standing up now, still bleeding, but he was able to say something about pressing charges. His speech was unsteady, and his hands were shaking. Guy talked a big game, but when things got real, he backed down. Sad. I looked at the security guards. I'm going. You want to deal with the two persons who really broke the law and turned a wedding into their own drama show. They are right there. Did not look back at Harper. Did not respond to Trent's grumbling. I didn't want anyone else in that place to see me break down, plead, or make additional scenes. I just walked down the aisle in my wedding dress. More than 150 people held up their phones like I was a parade float. Past my mother, who was crying. Her family was startled. Past everyone who had come to see me be married. I walked right out of that place and into the parking lot, where I took out my keys and got into my truck. Leo caught up to me. Wait, I'm not remaining here and letting her turn this into more of a circus than it already is. We drove away from the venue, away from the ceremony scene, away from the disaster Harper had planned. My phone was immediately blowing up with texts and calls. I turned it off. 3 years, $45,000, 8 months of preparing, 3 minutes to destroy all of it. So yep, I left, walked away from the disaster she'd made, and never looked back. Finally drove back to our apartment, contacted a locksmith, had him there within an hour fixing every lock. Then I started packing Harper's items into boxes. Everything she owned, every item of clothes, every portrait, every ornament. If it was hers, it went in a box. Leo showed up around 9 p.m. with my brothers. Didn't say anything, just started helping pack. We wiped out 3 years of Harper's life in 2 hours. Piled everything beside the door. By midnight, the apartment looked like a bachelor pad again. All traces of Harper obliterated. My brothers ordered pizza. We sat around eating and not talking about what happened because what the heck do you even say? Around 2 a.m., Harper tried calling. I blocked her number. She had her dad call Leo to arrange picking up her items. Leo instructed him to hire movers because none of us wanted to see their faces. That was my wedding day. But that was just the beginning. Harper showed up Thursday afternoon to grab her items. Only her and an attitude that said she expected this would go her way. I'd already relocated everything to the entryway. 23 boxes labeled and stacked. 3 years of her life squeezed into cardboard and packing tape. The place felt bigger without her junk around. She stepped in looking annoyed. The locks had been changed 2 days previously, so Leo had handed her dad the new key temporarily just for this pickup. "This is it?" she remarked, glancing at the boxes. "Everything you own. You're welcome." She started digging through boxes nevertheless, like I'd hidden her cherished items or ruined them out of malice. Pulled out clothes, opened her jewelry box, inspected her books like I'd pulled pages out for pleasure. "Where's my blender?" "That was I had it before we lived in together. I used it every morning. Cool story. Still mine." She shot me a glare but kept digging. Then she started chatting. Trent and I are extremely happy, you know. He's everything I needed. Don't take what occurred personally. I said nothing, just leaned against the wall and watched her perform. She continued going. He's taking me to California next month. Says we should just drive down the coast and see where we wind up. That's the kind of adventure I want. Sounds fantastic. Hope his parents' credit card covers petrol. Her jaw tensed, but she didn't bite. Just started taking everything from boxes and monologuing about how fantastic Trent was. How free she felt. How she'd made the perfect choice. Then Kobe stepped out of the bedroom. The dog took one look at Harper and immediately came to me. Sat at my feet, leaned against my leg. Hadn't done that for her in months. Harper said, "I'm taking Kobe." "No, you're not. He's also my dog. He's signed up in my name. I am responsible for the vet fees. I paid the price to adopt. Kobe is mine." "That's not right. I helped take care of him. You fed him sometimes and grumbled about having to walk him. That's not bringing anything up." Harper crouched down and told Kobe to come. The dog stared at her. Then he looked at me. Then he turned around and walked back to the bedroom on purpose. He didn't even look at her. She gave it another shot. "Kobe, come here, kid. Come on." Nothing at all. Even the dog was sick of her. At that point, Harper made the choice to just seize him. He walked toward the bedroom, calling his name in that high-pitched voice people use when they don't really know what they're talking about. I followed because I was interested in how this would turn out. Kobe was lying on the bed. Harper grabbed his collar. "Come on, let's go." Kobe made a low growl, sound of a low warning. He had never growled at anyone before. "Stop it, Kobe." She still clutched his collar and pulled hard, trying to get him off the bed. Kobe bit her. Not a full attack, just a fast snap that hit her hand. Made blood. Harper shrieked and let go, holding her hand. "He bit me? Your crazy dog just bit me?" My dog fought back. "That's what borders are. I'm gonna call animal control." "Go ahead. Tell them you tried to steal a dog that belonged to someone else, but when you grabbed him too hard, he bit you. Now you want them to do something about it. Check it out." Kobe had got off the bed and was back next to me, calm as could be. Not angry or worked up, just tired of Harper's crap. She was crying and looking at her hand as if Kobe had cut off her whole finger. It was a surface bite that didn't break the skin and would heal in a week. Harper took her handbag, left half of the boxes unpacked, and ran to the door. "I will hire a lawyer. I'll take you to court for him. Give it a shot. You already owe money for the wedding and my property. Now add a silly pet custody case and that sum will go up." She stopped at the door and looked back one more time. "Trent was correct about you. You're chilly." She slammed the door shut. I heard her car start and then she sped out of the parking lot like she was in an action movie instead of a 15-year-old Corolla. I gazed at Kobe. Good dog. He moved his tail. The boxes she had left behind. I put them outside the building in a pile with a placard. "Things for free. You can take everything you want." They were gone by daybreak. The legal stuff began on Monday. I called a family friend who worked in civil litigation and told them what was going on. He listened, wrote down what I said, and then delivered the words that made everything better. "You own the engagement ring legally. It's a gift with conditions. The condition is marriage." She didn't meet the requirement. "You receive the ring back." Harper had left with the $8,000 ring on her finger, but it was legally mine. The same was true for any big presents I had given her when we were engaged. The MacBook Pro I purchased her last year for $2,100. I had the receipt for the Tiffany jewelry I bought with my credit card for Christmas. It was worth $1,200 more. The $1,800 trip to Vancouver for her birthday over the weekend. I had been paying $120 a month for 18 months for a gym membership. Every present, every bill, and every dollar I had spent on her with a clear receipt was now a weapon. We wrote a letter of demand. Ring, laptop, necklace, gym membership refund, and half of the wedding expenditures. The total was $33,760. We told her she had 7 days to comply or we would sue her. Within 48 hours, her dad's lawyer had her answer. Ms. Harper thinks that the violent attack at the wedding is a good reason to keep all the gifts as payment for her emotional pain. My guy thought it was funny to read. We have video that shows Trent making physical contact. The allegation of self-defense is strong. And no matter what, property law is clear. No matter what happens at the wedding, the ring is yours. Most judges would understand what she did. 2 weeks after the wedding, Trent tried to make his own legal move. He filed assault charges against me, saying I attacked him without provocation in front of witnesses. Felt he had a sure-thing case. 150 people witnessed me hit him. Several phones recorded it. There is clear proof of injury. The problem was that I had the identical videos. My lawyer sent the prosecutor's office all of the tape from every angle. They all displayed the same thing. Trent pushed me first with his hands on my chest, pulling me away, and then I reacted. The sound picked up him saying, "Move aside, bro," shortly before he pushed. Self-defense. It's clear as day. The prosecutor's office looked at it for 3 days and decided not to file charges. I wrote Trent a letter explaining that touching someone without their permission makes you the aggressor and that using reasonable force to defend yourself is legal. Trent didn't tell Harper what really happened following the punch in his sob narrative. Security took him outside while he was still bleeding and acting crazy. SPD came, saw the video of him pushing me first, and gave him a ticket for disorderly conduct and a warning from the venue for trespassing. He didn't have to deal with cuffs. He just had to pay a fee and go to court on a weekday. But Trent wasn't done yet. Tried to sue for medical bills and emotional pain in a civil court. He said I hurt his jaw permanently, needed continuing care, and was traumatized by the event. Discovery was a work of art. My lawyer asked for Trent's medical records in a legal document. It turned out that the permanent harm was a little cut inside his mouth that healed in a week. No broken bones, no dental work needed, and no ongoing care. After insurance, the ER visit cost him $340. His trauma claim fell apart when we saw his tweets on social media 3 days after the wedding. Him and Harper were in a club acting like nothing happened. Trent was smiling like he had won something. The judge threw out the lawsuit with prejudice. That means Trent can't try again. He also had to pay my legal fees, which were $3,200. He never paid it. My lawyer filed the judgment with the county. It makes him interested and sits on his credit like a damp mattress. We'll garnish as soon as he shows W-2 income. Until then, it's just sitting there hurting his credit score and making sure that every background check shows him as someone with outstanding legal judgments. Everyone in our group of friends couldn't stop talking about the wedding. People were sharing videos of Trent crashing the event. Someone had aired parts of it live on Facebook. The video showed Trent pushing me initially, my punch, and everything else. People said things like, "This is crazy. Imagine doing this to someone." And my favorite, "Homeboy defended himself. Not his fault." My phone wouldn't stop ringing. People I hadn't talked to in years were calling me, all wanting to know what happened. Messages from coworkers. Texts from people you don't know asking for gossip or giving help. I didn't pay much attention to most of them. We took Harper to court. Her lawyer sought to say that the ring was a gift with no strings attached. Tried to say that my violent outburst caused her trauma. Tried everything. The judge didn't want to hear it. The video proof made the claim of assault useless. 3 months later, the decision came down. Harper had to give up the ring and MacBook within 30 days and pay $15,000 toward the wedding expenditures since she was the one who left. It was okay if she couldn't return the stuff. Cash was okay. The trouble was that Harper didn't have the ring or the MacBook anymore. She sold both of them to pay for the apartment that she and Trent moved into. The ring was sold to a pawn shop for $6,000. The MacBook went for $1,400 on the internet. My lawyer asked for money. 2 more months of back and forth. In the end, the judge told Harper to pay me a total of $25,100. The ring is worth $8,000. The laptop is worth $2,100, and the wedding costs $15,000. Payment plan, $500 a month for 51 months. I won, but it felt empty since winning meant I would have to pay this woman $500 every month for the next 4 years, which would remind me of the worst day of my life. Harper called from a blocked number 2 days after the decision. I answered because I believed it was business. You ruined my life. Her voice was high-pitched and crazy. $25,000. Are you crazy? How am I expected to pay for that? I shouldn't have sold my house to pay for your dream with Trent. I needed that cash to stay alive. Trent told us we needed a house of our own. That's cool. Then give me my money back. I can't pay for this. I have 2 jobs. Trent doesn't have a job right now, and that's not my concern. She lost it. A complete breakdown. She yelled at me that I was being mean to her for following her heart, that the judge was biased since I had video evidence that made me look good. You set this up. You wanted to make me look bad in court just like I made you look bad at the wedding. You embarrassed yourselves, Harper. I just wrote it down. Trent believes I should sue you for emotional damages because you hit him and hurt him. Trent's and you're broke. I hope you can afford another lawyer. I don't like you. I hope you're unhappy. I hope I hung up. Blocked the number. 10 minutes later, she tried to contact from Trent's phone. I let it go to the voicemail. Later, listened to it. 3 minutes of her crying about how mean I was. How she had committed a mistake but didn't deserve this. How one lousy choice was ruining her life. One awful choice. It was only an accident that she texted her ex for months, planned a public humiliation, and then walked out on me in front of 150 people. I got rid of the voicemail. I heard from friends that Harper's situation was getting worse very quickly. She resigned her job because she couldn't take it anymore when her coworkers asked her about the wedding. Trent wasn't working because he had never worked before. His real estate career was just a way of saying he had been out of work since college. They were spending Harper's money at an alarming rate. Trent's rent, food, and expectations about how he should live. It turns out that the individual had costly tastes but no money to pay for them. They were kicked out 3 months after the wedding. Couldn't pay the rent. The illegal detainer was put up in both of their names. If you co-sign a lease and then leave, both of you will have a bad rental history. They began looking for apartments, and reality hit them quickly. When the eviction came up on Trent's background check, 2 places turned him down right away. The third demanded a co-signer or 3 deposits. His parents said no. In the end, they gave up and moved in with Trent's parents in Tacoma. Yes, because no one else would rent to them. A 28-year-old man and his girlfriend moved into his parents' basement. The grapevine says that Trent's parents were quite happy. They have seen this pattern previously. Their son brought home a woman with money, used her out, and then moved on to the next one. They began charging rent $800 a month for a room in the basement, and of course Trent made Harper pay it. She got a job at Target, but it wasn't enough to pay her bills, so she also started working as a waitress at Applebee's. She worked 60 hours a week to support herself and her unemployed boyfriend while living in his parents' basement and paying me $500 a month. Sometimes the cosmos is funny. I thought this was the last time Harper would be a problem for me, but it gets a lot worse. About 6 months after the disaster, I saw Erin at a coffee shop. She was one of Harper's bridesmaids. Felt terrible about what occurred. She sent me a long text of apology shortly after the wedding, even though she had nothing to do with it. We had lunch and talked about what was going on. She had moved to Portland for work, but she was back in Seattle for a conference. I told her that, and she said I wasn't being helpful. That sounds right, but how are you doing? It's preferable to keep busy with work. Still angry, but dealing with it. After that, we stayed in touch. She'd come to Seattle once a month for work, and we'd go out to dinner or attend a movie. At first, there was nothing romantic between them. They were just 2 people who had been hurt and found someone who understood. But as time went on, it turned into something else. Erin was honest, drama-free, and stable. We made it official a year after the wedding went wrong. Not simply going out to dinner with friends anymore. They truly started dating. She went back to Seattle to get a better job. We moved slowly. After our own disasters, we were both careful. My family thought she was great. My brothers liked her a lot. The first time I took her to family dinner, my mom sobbed tears of joy. Mom said, "This is what you deserve. Someone who chooses you first." I asked Erin to marry me 18 months after Harper left me. Nothing crazy. Trip to the San Juan Islands over the weekend. A beach with no noise. Ring that is simple. Will you be my wife? Yes. All done. We picked a date for the next spring. Only close friends and family are invited to the small ceremony, which can have up to 60 individuals. You should pay attention to that because what follows next is something I never thought would happen. The wedding was set for April 20th at a tiny, private winery near Seattle. Event by invitation only. Carefully chosen guest list given to venue security. A relaxed outdoor ceremony. There was no wedding party, only Leo and Aaron's sister. Nothing special. This time I wasn't scared. I was just delighted. Aaron had shown herself to be good in every manner that counted. 2 p.m., my phone rang. While I was getting everything ready. Number not known. I almost didn't pick up. Hi. Harper's voice sounded unsteady and desperate. Please don't hang up. I should have ended the call. I should have blocked the number right away, but I was too curious. What do you want, Harper? Before you commit the biggest mistake of your life, I need to tell you something. She was sobbing. You can't marry Aaron. You should be with me. It's me. I've always been the one. We are meant to be together. You're crazy, Harper. Get some help. I'm not insane. I love you. I never ceased caring for you. Bye, Harper. I hung up the phone. Blocked the number. Told Leo about the phone call. He laughed. She's going crazy. She's probably at home weeping her eyes out. Most likely. At 3:55 p.m., we strolled out to the vineyard. People were already sitting down. Less people, more personal. Everyone there really cared for us. The music began. Aaron's sister walked down the aisle. Then the wedding march started, and Aaron walked toward me in her plain dress with a big smile on her face. She got to me and seized my hands. The officiant began his remarks. This time, I really listened and took in the situation. We made our promises. Aaron went first and spoke nice things about trust, teamwork, and making something real together. Then me. I thought my life was over 2 years ago. Then I met you, and you showed me what love really is. Not the fake Instagram stories. The real thing. Someone who comes to see you every day and choose you. You're the one for me. She was in tears. The kind of crying that feels nice. The officiant smiled. If anyone has a reason why these two shouldn't get married, speak up now or eternally hold your peace. Be quiet. Then call off the wedding. You can't be serious. Everybody turned. Harper ran through the entrance to the vineyard in a full bridal attire. A new one, not her old one. White, flowing with a veil and flowers. Her hair was half done. Her makeup was smeared, and her dress was wrinkled like she'd slept in it. She staggered down the aisle with a bouquet in her hand, swaying like she'd drunk a whole factory of energy drinks before the wedding. She yelled, "This is my wedding. Mine? He's mine." 60 people sat still. My mom's mouth was literally open. Leo said, "Oh no," under his breath. The security guards started to move, but Harper was faster. She took off her heels and ran barefoot toward the altar, her dress hitched up and her bouquet flying around. "I love you. I'm here. I'm ready. Let's get married right now." "Harper, what the heck are you doing? I'm claiming what's mine. You called me. You said you wanted me back. I really didn't." "Yes, you did. You did in my heart, and that's all that matters." She got to the altar and tried to seize my hands. I drew away. Aaron stood in between us. "Back off," Aaron stated in a calm voice. Harper's face turned into a mask of wrath. "You ruined everything. You stole my man. This is my wedding. Your wedding was 2 years ago and you left. Remember? That doesn't count." I was confused, but I'm here now and I'm taking back what's mine. Harper went at Aaron with both hands out like she was going for her neck. Just pure rage. Aaron stepped aside easily. Girl had reflexes and Harper's momentum carried her straight past right into the wedding cake table. The cake with 3 tiers wobbled. Harper reached for the tablecloth to catch herself. "You made a mistake." The cloth pulled. The cake fell over. Everything fell down in slow motion. The cake hit Harper right in the face. All 3 tiers. There is vanilla buttercream all over the place. She shrieked, spun around, tripped on frosting, and fell hard. But she wasn't finished. She tried to stand up, but she slipped again and clutched the ornamental arch for support. The arch wasn't fastened down right. It leaned to one side. Harper screamed and fell sideways into the tower of sparkling cider. Cider poured down in 60 glasses. There is glass all throughout the place. Cider was soaking her dress. She was on her hands and knees now, covered in cake and liquid, with mascara running down her face. She looked like an extra in a bad horror movie. The guests didn't say anything. Then a kid yelled again. "Do it again." And the whole vineyard went crazy. People were crying, laughing, and recording everything on their phones. Harper struggled to get up one more time. Her dress got stuck on her foot. She fell into the grass and didn't move. "Someone call 911, Aaron said, and he was still calm. The whole vineyard erupted. Aaron looked at me. "Can we finish getting married now? I'd really like to be your wife before any more exes show up covered in cake." The ceremony continued. We said our ideas, kissed, walked down the aisle as husband and wife. Guests were still laughing, sharing videos, texting friends about the most insane wedding crash in Seattle history. At the reception, Leo gave a toast. To the newlyweds, "May your marriage be filled with love, laughter, and significantly fewer crazy exes wearing wedding dresses." Everyone cheered. And somewhere Harper was in a hospital bed getting stitches for a cut on her forehead, explaining to a very confused doctor why she was wearing a wedding dress to someone else's wedding. Best wedding story ever. Guys, we are so close to hit 1,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 1,000 mark. My fiancée broke up with me for a better man that her family picked. She flung the ring at me. "You're sad. Keep your cheap ring." After 2 years, she's losing it because she sees how happy I am with my thriving business and my love. Hey everyone, I need your help before we start today's video. We can see that the channel is losing some traction, and subscribing is one of the finest ways to help us. It's fast, free, and it helps us keep making great stuff for you. Your help means everything. Let's work together to make this channel bigger. Thank you very much. Let's get the video going now. Hey, Reddit. My fiancé broke up with me after 4 years together, called me pitiful and said I had crazy dreams, and then went with her new guy the same day we broke up. 2 years later, my dreams came true and I was doing well. The best part is that I ruined her new boyfriend's job. She lost it. This is what happened. I, a 29-year-old man, met my ex-fiancée, a 26-year-old woman named Brooke, in the most silly way possible. At 2 a.m., I'm in the library. I was so tired from coding for 12 hours straight that when this girl with perfectly combed hair and a coffee cup tripped and spilled her latte all over my laptop, I couldn't believe it. Most people would have gone crazy, but I just looked at her and remarked, "Well, at least my code has some flavor now." She chuckled instead of running away. 4 years together, 8 months engaged, and 4 years of thinking we had something real. I had saved up for 6 months to buy the ring I used to propose. She agreed. Sobbed tears of joy and